Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Bava Kamma. We are up to Perek Tet, Mishnah Chet. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'ilu Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Ranbai, Veliyahu ben Burchai, Israel, Chana ben Miriam, Sason ben Rain, Yoshua ben Shifra, Menuchatam began Eden, Amen, and Avdi ben Chaim Lechaim, with the Refuah Shelemav, Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, B'toch Shah Cholei Israel, and Achlama Merav ben Amin, Od Zion Chai ben Dvorah. In the last case of the previous Mishnah, the Shomer, the person who was given money or property to safeguard, claimed that the deposit was lost. In the following case, he claims that it was stolen. Hechan Pikdoni, if one person said to another, "Where is my deposit that I gave you to safeguard?" Amar lo nignav, and he replied it was stolen, in which case he would not be obligated to return it or pay its value. Mashbiachani, and the owner then said to him, "I hereby make you swear that it was indeed stolen." V'amar amen, and he answered amen, which is the same as making the oath itself, as making the oath himself. And afterwards witnesses testified against him that he stole it himself, meaning he still had it at the time of the oath or he had consumed it. Mishalem teshlumi chefel, he makes the double payment, the kefer that a regular thief must make. An unpaid shomer who does not return the item entrusted to him is exempt from payment if he swears that it was lost or stolen. However, if he swears that it was stolen and witnesses testify that it was not stolen, for example, they say that he still has it, the Torah teaches that he is treated like a thief and that he must pay the value of the article plus a fine that equals the value of the article. As it says in Bava Mitzia, chapter 3, Mishnah 1, this is the kefil fine that a thief must pay. But he does not pay the extra fifth or bring an asham offering because he did not confess, and those two obligations apply only where the thief confessed on his own, as taught in the previous Mishnah. Hodam me'atzmo, however, if he did confess on his own, mishalem keren v'chomesh v'asham, he pays the principal and the fifth and brings the asham offering, but he is exempt from the double payment because that is a fine, and the rule is that a person's confession does not obligate him to pay a fine. Normally, when a person says that he owes money, he becomes obligated to pay it, but if he says that he owes a fine, he is exempt. This rule is derived from the Torah. In fact, the fifth is also a fine. He must nevertheless pay it in order to gain atonement, as the commentators explain. And that is in a Mishnah Chet. Mishnah Tet discusses another law that concerns a thief who falsely swore that he does not have to pay and then confessed. Hagozelet aviv v'nishba'lo, if someone robbed his father and swore falsely to him, claiming that he is not liable, umed, and then the father died and the son confessed, he pays the principal and the fifth to his father's sons or the father's brothers, meaning he must pay the entire principal and the entire fifth, including the share that he inherits, to the other heirs of his father, such as his father's other sons, meaning the robber's brothers, or the father's brothers. If someone dies without sons, he is inherited by his brothers. Although the thief also inherits his father, he may not keep anything for himself, but must pay everything to the other heirs. The thief discussed here, who swore falsely and then confessed, does not gain atonement unless he returns all of the stolen item and the fifth, including the share that he inherited. This is in contrast to a regular thief who may keep his own share and return just the shares of the other heirs. Now, this requirement to return everything applies only where the stolen item itself must be returned. If the thief pays its monetary value instead, for example, because the item changed and he thereby acquired it, he does not need to make the entire payment to the other heirs, but may keep the share of the principal and the fifth that he inherited, as the Rav explains. Now, the Tana provides a way for him to avoid losing his share of the stolen item while still fulfilling his obligation to return everything he stole. But if he does not want to give up his share of the stolen item, or he does not have enough money to afford giving it up, Loveh may borrow money from someone, and then his lender can come and collect the debt from the portion of the stolen property that he inherited and gave away, meaning the thief borrows an amount that equals his share of the stolen item, then he gives the entire item to the other heirs, and then the lender collects his debt from the other heirs. In this way, the robber fulfills his obligation to return the entire item, and yet he also benefits from his share by borrowing that amount and not paying it back. For example, if the robber has two brothers and he inherited a third of the stolen item, he borrows an amount equal to a third of its value. The borrower then seizes that amount from the heirs. Generally, if a borrower gives or sells movable property to someone before paying off his debt, the lender cannot take it from the recipient. He can take only land, not movable property. This thief, however, did not actually give his share of the stolen item to his brothers. He merely surrendered his rights to it so that he could gain atonement. Since the brothers did not receive it as a gift, the lender is entitled to take it from them. And that is the Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.